Hey guys, it's Pose. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video on it. And today we're going to be finally reacting to my Premier League predictions I made for the 23-24 season. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's mid-July, late July, and I'm finally doing it. I've just had a lot on in my life, as you guys may know. If you follow me on Twitter, especially, I've had a lot of stuff happen in the family. So hope you guys understand that. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to go into the Premier League predictions that I made before the season started. And we're going to go from where the teams actually finished from 20th up to 1st, and I'm going to tell you where I put them. So without further ado, I'm going to start in 20th position with Sheffield United, who I predicted to be in 20th position. Realistically, it was coming for quite a long time. 16 points all season. They needed double that to even think about getting out of the relegation zone. Conceded over 100 goals. No threat up front at all. They tried to bolster it by getting Ben Brereton Diaz in January, but it didn't really seem to help them all that much. But it was clear that they were going to go down probably since October. They were probably destined to go down by then, so quite an easy one. So we got that one spot on and 1 for 1 so far. The next up, one higher than Sheffield United, was Burnley, finished 19th. I had them finishing 14th, mainly because I believe that the way they were playing in the Championship the year prior, when they won the Championship, I thought they were actually going to do a little bit better, and yeah, it didn't really seem to happen. The players didn't really seem to click. I think at one point they went on a 7-game losing streak followed by an 11-game winless streak, I've got in my notes, and yeah, it wasn't really going to happen for them. 5 wins all season. Sheffield United twice, Luton, Brentford and Fulham were the only wins they had, and the rest were 9 other games were draws, and not the accumulating 24 points. Yeah, it was a bad season for them. I thought they'd do a lot better, but just wasn't to be. 18th, Luton Town, and I had them finishing in 15th. I thought it would just be a case of, like I said in my predictions, I thought the Kenilworth Road would be a bit like Stoke in terms of they're going to try and make the Kenilworth Road a fortress, a bit like Stoke did when we came up in 2008. That's what I said in the video. Didn't really seem to happen all that much for them. They made some good signings, don't get me wrong. I thought Chong was good. Ross Barkley really was a good signing for them. But obviously none of them really seemed to click, you know. And just didn't get enough to go over the line in the end. And yeah, it was Nottingham Forest that beat them out. So obviously they finished 17th. And obviously, despite having FFP problems, they still managed to stay up. But they would have done it comfortably without the FFP anyway. So yeah, it was tough. It was a tough season for Luton, but they did, like I said, they did proud. It was a good story for them in 10 years getting to the Premier League from the National League. But yeah, they just didn't have enough to get over the line. And yeah, all 3 of the teams that went up last season will be in the Championship next season, fighting with my boys Stoke. But yeah, on to Forest, like I say, 17th they finished. I had them in 16th originally. Like I say, they didn't really need to make much more signings after the season before. So not much else to say, but they got over the line in the end. I said they'd just stay up, they did. So yeah, Luton I thought would stay up. That's the big one I got wrong. On to 16th spot, and it was Brentford that finished there, and I had them finishing 11th. I had them so high, I didn't think that not having Ivan Toney wouldn't really be an issue for him, and it seemed that way after once he came back, and you know, even they were scoring goals, they just couldn't keep the ball out of the net. You know, that Nathan Collins at the back, and he was making quite a few mistakes. So Brentford, I've seen through some of the highlights, but even though they did finish 16th, it was a somewhat comfortable finish because of how poor the relegated sides did. 39 points, so close to that magic 40 point mark, and yeah, didn't do too bad towards the end of the season either. In April, I think 8 points from 15 available. Still decent form, and then I'm sure now they got Ivan Toney back, they'll progress on and hopefully end up in a better position next season. But again, next season is still going to be tough for them. 15th spot, Everton, and I had them getting relegated in 18th, and it was mostly because I watched them in pre-season against Stoke, obviously the year before the season started, or before the season started, and they weren't that good. Obviously they beat Stoke on the day, but it didn't look like a very good Premier League performance. I thought they would look like a Championship team, that's what I said. And but despite that, and despite FFP and knocking off about 8 points, I think they knocked off, they still finished comfortably and would have been about 12th, 11th if they managed to keep those points. So yeah, despite a 50th place finish, they didn't actually do that bad this season. And yeah, they're going to get much better. Hopefully they make some more signings and they get more comfortable finishes, which I'm sure they will. Now the FFP problem's gone, as far as I know. and they got a new stadium, not this season, next season as well. So it's a new era at Everton. So yeah, hopefully for the best for them, they picked up a bit. 14th was Wolves, and I had them getting relegated as well in 19th. And again, it was mostly down to the players that they had. They lost key players like Ruben Neves, they lost Jimenez as well. João Moutinho, I think, retired. Patricio left. And yeah, they still managed to do well with the players they had. Hwang Hee-chan was a really, really good player from the season, and Matheus Cunha as well, even was quite good, decent for most of the season. And yeah, and I want to say, was it Gary O'Neill? What a manager he was. He was gutted that he left Bournemouth, but he did really well at Wolves. Took him a while to get him going, but once he did get going, it went well. And yeah, 14th is a respectable finish for Wolves. Like I say, I thought to go down like many of the other team, well, people that have done the predictions, so to say. Yeah, they had them go down as well. So yeah, they've done well to stay up this season. So yeah, fair play to Wolves. 13th spot was Fulham, and that's where I had them. I actually had them finishing bang on for 13th, so it's a good one for me. That's number 2, right? Yeah, wasn't too bad. 2 points off a top 10 finish, but again, they were just seemed to be inconsistent for the most part of the season. 2 times during the season, they had a 2-game win streak, and that was their biggest win streak all season. Was only 2 games, so it's very inconsistent. Like we say, win loss type of form. So 13th is probably obviously it is a good finish for them, respectable for how their season has gone. And yeah, there's not much else to say. They lost Mitrovic. Didn't really seem too bad with Jimenez going in. It came to good form towards the end of the season. So yeah, on to next. On to 12th spot, which was Bournemouth's position they finished this season. I had them just surviving in 17th. And obviously, it was all down to the players they had as well. They also got rid of Gary O'Neill, and obviously got in another manager who I didn't know a whole lot about, Iraola. But again, it took them till about November to keep going. After I've got the notes here, after their 6-1 loss to City, 19 points from 24 is an incredible record. And again, in February, got 20 points out of 13 games, so 20 points from 39. Again, a really decent comeback for Bournemouth. Stanky, Kluivert, all them players got going towards the back end of the season, and obviously looked towards pushing to the top 10 finish. Couldn't do that again, but Bournemouth again, 12th spot is a decent spot. Like I say, I had them go down, so 5 positions out on that one. So just missing out on the top 10 and top half of the table, Brighton in 11th, and I had them finishing 8th. Obviously they had European football, which didn't do too bad in. They got to the last 16 of the Europa League, where they got defeated by Roma, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Roma. And yeah, did a struggle to have a balance between the leagues and cups for most of the season. That's probably why they had such a big drop off. When the season started, it looked really, really strong. I think it was like 15 points out of 18 available in the league, so it was really good. But then again, once these cup competitions started flowing, and again, Europe started to come into play, that's where they started to drop off a little bit. Tiredness was truly setting in. You can see the squad depth didn't really help them too much. But again, 11th spot, a decent finish. They got their run out in Europe as well, and they got decent stages of some cup competitions. So complete reset next season for Brighton. I'm sure they'll go again, try to push top half the table, and I'm sure they'll do it because obviously they've got a new manager in now. De Zerbi's left, I believe. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Brighton, but I'm sure they'll be up there again next season. So into the top 10, and Crystal Palace was the team that finished in 10th. Now they're in 12th, so it wasn't too far off this one. I probably would have got it bang on, but Palace, the last 7 games of the season, unbeaten all 7 of them games. 21 goals scored. It looked so good on form. Elise, Eze and Mateta, they looked really good towards the back end of the season. Obviously scoring goals for fun. It's a shame that obviously they lost Elise to Bayern Munich, but you still got Eze, you still got Mateta. I'm sure they'll use the money from Elise to buy someone else who will probably be a much better replacement for him. Like I say, they sneaked into the top 10 last few games of the season. They look really good towards that last back end of the season. West Ham in 9th. I had them in 10th again. I was only 1 place out on this, so I wasn't too bad on that. Quarterfinals of the Europa League for them. Again, they just can't seem to do it in the Europa League. It's been 2 or 3 seasons in a row, I think it is now, that they can't get it done. But again, this time David Moyes, despite decent form, come to 9th. It's not normally a bad position to be in, but it still leads to sacking the manager, which it doesn't sit well with me that they would sack him. Gotten the first trophy and the first European trophy in, well, forever, and they still sack the manager. It doesn't go well with me, but it is what it is. So 8th spot with Manchester United, and I had them in 3rd. I thought they'd have a much better season than they actually did. They won the FA Cup, so fair play to them for that, beating City in the final, and probably saved Ten Hag's job at the same time by doing that. But they started the season off quite poorly, and again they finished bottom of the Champions League group as well, so it didn't really do. I say it's very poor for Manchester United to be a club that consistently lose games and also finish bottom of the Champions League is not great for them at all. But yeah, they just needed. We expected better from them, like most teams did, and it's the most defeats they've ever had in the Premier League. I think it was 13 defeats. So again, 8th is fair, obviously for the season they've had. Like I say, they've won the FA Cup to just sneak into Europe and knock Newcastle out of the Europe, even though Newcastle finished 7th. But yeah, we should be expecting more from Manchester United. And whilst we're on Newcastle, they did finish 7th. I had them in 6th. And again, no Europe. Tonali was banned for all the season, basically, after his betting, after his betting he's been doing. And yeah, again, bottom of the Champions League as well for them. English teams didn't really have too much of a good run in Europe, apart from City, who got to the semis and quarters, should I say. Yeah, mixed results. They can beat teams like PSG and Mbappe, but they can't beat AC Milan or Dortmund. They had a tough group, to be fair to them as well. That was the group of death. And yeah, 7th's not bad. They don't have Europe, so they'll probably end up trying to push for Champions League again next season. But yeah, I had them in 6th. Only one place out on that one. So Chelsea in 6th. I had them in 5th. Again, one place out. So I don't mind these predictions at all so far. Palmer was the saviour for Chelsea. 9 penalties taken, 9 scored. So I think it was 20 goals all season as well he got. And yeah, got no European football. They had no European football. And now next season they'll be playing the Conference League, which should be a tournament they should realistically win. If they don't, then I'm reckon sure everyone will be upset because everyone will have them in the bookies odds probably to win that competition. But yeah, it was a very mixed season for them. They had moments where they looked really, really poor, then they had high moments where they looked insane. But yeah, 6th, not a bad finish. But without European football, you should be pushing on a bit more and yeah, going deeper in competitions. But like I said, they did lose I think it was the League Cup final as well. On to 5th, and just missing out on the Champions League was Tottenham Hotspur. 2 points off in the end. They away from a Champions League spot. I had them finishing in 7th. Even though they had no European football, I thought they wouldn't do as well. New manager, he obviously only managed Celtic before, so I didn't think there was a lot in him. Obviously, proved me wrong for the start of the season. I think they were top after 8 or 9 games, after just winning games. Fun, literally. And then, yeah, went on to start losing games really repeatedly. I've got here 8 wins from the first 11 games, and then after that they lost 4 of the next 5. So again, it's just that massive drop in form they had, and obviously they just couldn't get the momentum again to go and push on for the title, and obviously later stage of the season to push on for Champions League. But they're in Europe again next season. You're in the Europa League again. Bring some new players in. They need the striker definitely. I've got a few Spurs fans have been saying the same thing to me. They need to find a new striker, and yeah, look, they can push on next season. They'll probably just sneak in next season, but again, they should be pushing top 4. They were close, but not close enough. Alright, again towards the end, so you won't have to listen to my voice much longer. Villa in the top 4, finished 4th. I had them in 9th. Obviously, I didn't see them pushing on as much as they did. They were probably the story of the season, to be honest with you. Again, pushing top 4. Emery's done a really good job with them getting Champions League football. Lost the Conference League semi-finals again to the actual winners in the Olympiacos. So not too bad for them. But they play some lovely stuff. But I've watched most of the highlights, and then most of the times they get forward, I'm like, I know they're going to score. And Watkins, what a man, did England a favour in semi-finals, which was gutted. Obviously England didn't actually win that, but Watkins 19 goals for Villa, again kicking on. And again, I reckon next season they'll even hit even better form, and you never know, in the Champions League, getting some Champions League goals will do them the world of good. And they might even try and get him to a start in the England squad, you never know. But yeah, a very good job for Villa getting top 4. Liverpool in 3rd. I had them just missing out on the title. I had them in 2nd, simply because I just thought with Europa League, I just didn't think it would affect them as much, and they'd actually use that to their advantage and push on for the title. But didn't seem that way. They were 9 points off City in the end, but they had some good runs in the season. It went 8, then 7, then 11, then 9 games unbeaten with 1 loss in between each one. But again, They just dropped off. They got knocked out of the Europa League in the quarters, I think it was. And then obviously after that, that's when they started dropping off quite a bit. But they did get the second most red cards as well in the entire season, getting 5, and only Burnley had more with 7. So they do need to sort that out, that side of the game, because it can affect their results. But only about half of the games when they got a red card, they actually lost. So again, it's not too bad. Liverpool, but again, they can do better. They're in Champions League again at least, and they've also won the League Cup. But they got a new manager as well, Arne Slot's in over Klopp. So we'll see what Liverpool do next season. So in second were Arsenal, and I had them finishing 4th. And I look back at that, and I was always wondering why I had them in 4th. I honestly thought the teams I had above them would actually just have better seasons. But Arsenal took City right to the wire. It was just their loss to Villa at home that really cemented it in for City. In a sense, City weren't gonna, when City were on top, they weren't gonna lose it. But yeah, they had a really good season. Champions League quarterfinals, almost got the title, but they look good again for the title next year. They got a really good squad, and I can see them. Honestly, early predictions, I can see Arsenal winning the league. So yeah, look out for that. Say, you never know. It's just City were too good, and go out to City. They won the league, and I had them finishing 1st as well. So I got 3 teams bang on, which I don't mind. Yeah, 4 league titles in a row. Lost the FA Cup final, which is gutting for them. Got knocked out to Real Madrid in Champions League, which isn't a bad thing. It's Real Madrid at the end of the day. And since losing a game in December, they've been unbeaten in the league since then, since December. So again, it's not a bad season at all for City, winning their 4th Premier League title in a row. And I'm sure they'll go again next season and try to win a 5th. The only team that can stop them at the moment is Arsenal. And like I say, I reckon they could do it. And yeah, there we go. That's my Premier League prediction, reaction to my predictions. And the points tally I'm using, like I say, I've watched Spencer FC. He does his every year, and I'm using his method of adding points. I've only got 50, which is very good, I think, for a predictions, getting 50 points. And obviously, the worst I think I had 4 or 5 teams, so only 5 places out. I had nothing any worse than that. I had 3 correct, a couple 1s and 2s here and there. But again, not bad, I don't think, for myself. So that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like and let me know if I need to make any improvements. But let me know in the comments below. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel as well. You can tell, Stoke fan. And as I'm recording this, tomorrow is our pre-season game against Crewe, which I will be going to, as I will be going to the game against Stockport on the Saturday. So be sure to look out for the pre-season vlogs for them. But other than that, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video and its poems, and I'm signing out, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.